The following is a sponsored program on WBT.
Investment advice provided on the following program is on an individual basis. Listeners should not consider today's discussion as a recommendation for any investment and should carefully evaluate before investing. This is Your Real Estate Today on News Talk 1110 WBT.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the show, Your Real Estate Today. So glad that you're out there with us today. We have a packed show. And when I say packed, with a capital P exclamation point, packed show. So excited for that. I'm Paul Jamison, the host of Your Real Estate Today. I'm the owner of the Jamison family of companies. That's Jamison Realty, Jamison Property Management, Jamison Property Investments. I'm here with Jessica Dobbs, who is a member of the Jamison Team, and excited to have her here with us. And my good friend Sandy Dickinson with Summit Funding will also, in this segment, give us a good mortgage update, because we need one. There's a lot going on out there, isn't there, Sandy?
There is a ton going on out there, yes.
I am excited about it, and excited, Jessica, to hear your thoughts on what's going on out in the real estate market today. And I think we're going to talk about a lot of things, anywhere from Zillow and these websites to how to make sure you hire a good contractor and things to be thinking of when it comes to that, and so much more. But let's start out, as we always do, with what I learned this week. And you know what? I'm one of those old dogs you can treat some new tricks to, because I'm always learning, as it seems, every day. So I did a survey with my team the other day, and we talked about what was one of the critical factors in the sale of the home. And unanimously, every team member talked about communication. They talked about communication and how key it is. And here are some of the areas that the team talked about as it relates to that communication. Number one, showings and expectations around showings. How they work, how to strategize around them, how to minimize the agony of showings, and making sure that the expectations are layered in the right direction. The second thing was offers. Communication around offers. What does due diligence mean, and how does it work? A lot of people don't know that due diligence is a lot like layaway. And in the contract, now you put the home, the buyer puts the home in this due diligence period or layaway period for a non-refundable deposit, with a few caveats. But during that period of time, they do the examination, and during that period, the buyer can leave for any reason. They don't have to give one. That's in North Carolina. So just making sure that people understand what due diligence means, and that when you get that check, you should cash it. Next, different loan types. You know, there are options out there, and there are different lenders out there, and there are reasons why you may or may not accept a really great offer because of the loan type or the lender. So thank goodness we got Sandy here. So there are really ways that you can look at communication around those things. Here's another. What happens next around inspections and negotiation? You have to, in the very early stages, whether you're a buyer or a seller, understand what that looks like. Understand what difference it makes. Next, when is it really time to move? When is it okay to pack your stuff? And as a seller, what you want to make sure you understand is when you're past the hurdles that you need to be past to move forward. Of course, there's no guarantee with anything until that check crosses the table. But there are places in the transaction where you can make a determination, you know what, we can go. And that's a good thing to communicate. Also, emotions must always be considered. Over-communicate those to make sure you can't control what the other side's thinking or the emotions that they have around it. And then how to turn the house over when you actually get done with the closing, what is the expectation of how you're supposed to leave the house when you leave? One thing for sure, you don't want to leave it a mess. So communicating those things is real critical to the success of a real estate transaction. And I really love that. Right now, closings aren't, they're very impersonal because the attorneys don't want the realtors there. So, you're standing outside clapping when they come out of the attorney's office to celebrate their closing. Sandy's laughing, and Joe's Jessica, because that's kind of what we're doing. We're waiting outside to go, yay! When in essence, we can't be in there to be a part of the process. It's really hard to do. All right, couple of other little updates I'd just like to share with you. Our real estate market kind of parallels roads and transportation. Remember our key, location, location, location. I'll talk to you a little bit about it if we have time today about NCDOT, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But last, before Sandy gives us the update, I would like to, every week, right now there's a lot of small businesses out there hurting right now. And we are so supportive of our communities and of our small business. So we're going to try to just bring you to light with some businesses out there that we really think a lot of and think a lot of us. And right now, my spotlight is my favorite little community restaurant called Metro Diner. Metro Diner is located in the Matthews Festival Shopping Center. It is my breakfast go-to place. I have written on their placemats more notes and more plans than you could ever imagine. I love their food. I love their people. And my two favorite dishes are the chicken pot pie, and I also love their corned beef hash. So if you want a good, safe meal, they're back open. They've got plenty of parking, and it's a great place to go. Metro Diner in downtown Matthews. Go and support them. All right? All right, Sandy, give us an update.
Okay, here's what we have today. So applications are up 3%, but purchase applications are up 9% higher than last year.
Whoa!
Yeah, and that's after they were down in April. So we're excited about that. People are buying. Refis are flat, but they're still up 176% year over year. So they make up now 63% of our mortgage applications. But we're really excited that purchases are up as far as they are. According to the MBS Highway, which I use for a rate because, other than my rates, because it kind of takes all the teaser and all the craziness out of what people are putting online. But rates are up only 0.01%, so from 3.41 to 3.42, and that's with a fraction of a point. So that's about where they're at right now. Mm-hmm. 4.2 million people are in forbearance, which is only 8.4% of all mortgages, and 40% of those people are making payments. So what I want to say about forbearance is that they're pushing it, or it seems like they're pushing it. It's easy to get, and it doesn't hurt your credit report. However, you can't refinance or purchase if you're in forbearance on any loan, unless all the payments are made on time. So be careful about filing for forbearance. And if you just did it and you know you want to refi or purchase, I would go ahead and make the payments anyway, because if you miss a payment, you have to have made 3 consecutive payments before you can get the financing.
Okay, so that's important, Sandy. That's a big deal. Yeah. So say that one more time. You have to do what now? How many do you have to have consecutive?
You have to have 3 consecutive on-time payments in order to do it if you filed forbearance.
Mm-hmm. That's refi, new purchase, purchase of another house, whatever the case may be. Well,
that's right. So if you already own a house and you filed on it because they just said, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, well, yeah, who wouldn't want to do that, then be careful. If you've missed a payment, I would start making them again if you have the ability to do that. Yeah. Because otherwise, rates are terrific. You might want to buy another property. You might want to refinance, and then you're going to have a roadblock.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. How's jumbos coming along?
Jumbos are starting to open up, so we'll see where they're at. We're scouring around for the best ones right now. We have a couple in our hopper. Nothing I'm in love with right now. But I feel like there's something coming over the horizon that looks pretty good.
That sounds good. Well, thank you, Sandy, for the update. This is the show, Your Real Estate Today. We'll be right back with more with Jessica Dobbs, myself, Paul Jamison. We're here in the studio. We've got a lot for you, so stay with us. The show, Your Real Estate Today, here on News Talk 1110, 99.3, radio.com in the WBT studios. We'll be right back. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show, Your Real Estate Today. Paul Jamison, your host here. We're here to share information about real estate with you. I'm the owner of the Jamison family of companies. That's Jamison Realty, Jamison Property Management, Jamison Property Investments, here with a fellow team member with the Jamison Team, Jessica Dobbs. Hey, Jessica, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so good to have you back. And also, if you'd like to see us as well, you can go to the Jamison Realty YouTube channel. You can see our faces. And you probably pick up a little between the show stuff too, but we are also recorded on the Jamison Realty YouTube channel, so you can see us there as well if you want to rewind or go back and look at any segments. If you go to WBT or the shows tab, you can also view our podcasts there, as well as radio.com. We're available for your listening on the WBT tab. So, Jessica, one of the things I wanted to go through with you, because we get a lot of questions about Zillow or online evaluation tools, don't we? You know, we go into a listing appointment and they go, well, Zillow says.
Definitely.
So let's start out. What are some of the good things about the Zillow or those home evaluation website tools?
Sometimes it's a great starting point that they have algorithms that they price homes with, the Zestimate, they call it. Not always incorrect, so it's a good starting place, but you also want to go on there and maybe get some videos, some photos of the home on its previous listing, or maybe get some information on the area, the schools, houses around it, just community info.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, Jess, is like, let's say, for example, you have a house that you're getting ready to list in a very remote area, right? Let's say, for our purposes of our listenership, it's out on 601 somewhere. Not a lot of houses sell out there on 601, do they?
No,
all right.
Definitely not.
So you go into multiple listing to do a CMA, because right now you're just trying to get an idea. You're not ready to do a full appraisal. And there haven't been any sales out there in 5 years. So the data's not real good. So you might go to one of these sites and put the address in, and it gives you kind of a general feel of where some ranges might be, and a few comparables as well of other values, does it not?
Yes, it can.
Yeah, so it kind of, like you said before, it's kind of a good starting point, and it gives you some information about the schools, community information, trends, and things that at least begin to give you data points to do other comparisons. All right. What else about the pictures and things do you find helpful?
Oh, it's always good to get in there and see what the home used to look like, especially on our end before we meet with a seller. If they're telling me they've done upgrades to the home, paint, whatnot, it just gives a general feel of what we're walking into beforehand. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting also is sometimes the pictures are older and, you know, from a different time, so you can kind of see a little bit of a progression of the home. You know, when you look at it on the tax records, say, you know, you look at an aerial view, or you look at, you know, putting that little guy, you know, standing him down there on the street to do the street view. I told you my story about that, didn't I, Jess, about me and the street view guy? So I was getting ready to go on a listing appointment. And again, I did not have a lot of data. So I was doing the research like we're talking about, and I took the little street view guy and I put him down in the street in front of the house. And I'm really big about when I evaluate a house, I look 5 left, 5 right. I go to the back of it and I look 3 left and 3 right. So I took the little dude and I spun him, spun the view around, and right across the street was a drug bust that was going on at that time. So interesting way to evaluate a piece of property. At that exact moment when the camera went by, there were policemen handcuffing a guy across the street. Pretty interesting. Anyway.
Nice.
So I digress. So the pictures give you a good history and seeing some old pictures. What other good things about Zillow do you like, Jess?
As a homeowner, you can go in and update the information and claim your house.
Yeah.
Say. If there's anything wrong, if you've added an addition to the home, it'd be something nice to put in there. You could update the facts so it updates your estimate just to get a better overall feel.
Yeah. So this is my challenge to you all right now. My challenge to you all would be the following. Look up your address. TJ, you can do that while you're sitting there. Look up the address on your house because I'm going to ask you after the break. Call up your home address and see what they say about your house. See if they got the bathrooms right, the square footage right, the number of bedrooms right, and is it the right kind of heat? Is it the right kind of air? Does it have a garage or not a garage? And then if it's wrong, go in there and fix it. Go in there and edit it. What's that, Jess?
I was going to say, my brother called me a few weeks ago, and he said, my house says it has 12 and a half bathrooms on Zillow. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath.
12 and a half bathrooms. That's a guy that has to go. All right, so I want you to go do that, and I think you will be surprised. This is not a perfect scenario. And so, again, to some, it's a good place to start, like Jess said. But, go in and update it and fix it and make sure that the correct data is in there. And you have the opportunity to do that. What else, Jess?
Well, on our end, we can use it to advertise open houses. It links with our MLS, but sometimes it doesn't get to the third-party site, so we have to go in and adjust it. But because it has such a large count of views online, it's always good to get in there and at least tweak it for those that are searching.
Yes, it is true. It is great. All right, and what else?
If you sell your home at a large discount, this could be an option with the Zillow offers.
Yeah, it can. If you're interested and you have a reason to not go through the traditional methods and you choose to do it this way, and it's obviously for some people because they do buy homes. You can sell it at a large discount. I mean, and it's an option for you. It truly is. And so you can't discount that. All right. Did you get that little play on words? You see what I just did there? So what are some of the challenging things, Jessica, about Zillow or these data sites?
Well, just that. It's data, and sometimes the data is wrong. So it pulls from tax records. Oftentimes, if you miss a payment, you'll get a ding. And this will show up maybe as a pre-foreclosure. A lot of the data is just misconstrued by the system. So you have to definitely check with a professional to make sure what you're looking at is correct.
Jess, you're exactly right. You brought up something that wasn't even in the notes, which reminded me of how this data is challenging to some, but I did learn the lesson. There was a house that I was in an area I was interested in that came up as a pre-foreclosure due to the fact that, like you said, it was somewhat of a misinformation. They'd actually made the payment late, and it came in here as pre-foreclosure. So I actually knocked on the door of the house, and I said, I understand you're in pre-foreclosure, and would you be interested in selling the house? That didn't go over so good.
No boy.
So we've got more to come with the Show Your Real Estate today. I'm with Jessica Dobbs. I'm Paul Jamison, your host. We're excited. We're talking about these sites that give you data on your home. So stay with us. We want to give you some insight. The Show Your Real Estate today here on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Stay with us. Welcome back, friends, to the Show Your Real Estate today. Paul Jamison, your host, here with Jessica Dobbs from the Jamison Team. We are real estate, property management, and property investments here sharing our Saturday with you. So happy Saturday wherever you are. We hope it's dry and you are happy and safe. All right, we've been talking about the data sites that share estimates of your home value and information about homes, and the kind of the positive and challenging sides of those sites. We kind of went through the positives, as being a great starting point, tons of data about the area, pictures. You can update it. It allows you to claim your home. You can advertise open houses on them. And, there's options if you want to sell your home at a discount, you can do that. We're kind of going into the challenging pieces, and Jessica started out with the data actually usually most of the time kind of not being right. So she brought that out, knowing it's just a math problem. What else, Jessica, do you see as a challenge with those data sites and the information that it gives you on value and home specifics?
Well, Zillow's never walked into your house.
It hasn't? It's seen me on the screen.
Definitely. It may not know about that cell tower in your backyard. So without having a human experience or input on the area and neighborhood, it's just, like you said, an algorithm and a guess. Yeah,
truly a guess, a coin flip for sure. Are agents using this site for values?
Some rookie agents are using this as a basis to justify pricing without knowledge of the CMA or an appraisal or just the area in general. Harmful to consumers, I say, and you need to ask an agent where their value came from and to show you the comps to support that.
I think it's important. Let's put it this way. I've never seen a seller that has had a very low value thought of their home. Who should, right? We all do. I mean, it's human nature. I also know that the market may, in some cases, have a different opinion of that same value. And our job is not to set the market. Our job is to interpret it, right? That's what we do. And we use data to do that. And we use data from previous sales. We are not appraisers as real estate agents, but also know when you get an appraisal done, how long is it good for, Jess?
That day.
One day. So know that values change and it's a moving target. But we do look at comparable data, and we come to you with our opinion of that value. Well, when you're sitting in a listing presentation or even with a buyer and they're asking you what the value of the particular home is, make sure you ask the question, where did you derive your value from? And every agent should be able to defend that. I think that's important. What else, Jess?
Especially here in our market, Charlotte, Zillow doesn't know anything about the neighborhoods, booming areas. There's a lot of growth here, so this is just basing off of their algorithms, not taking into effect that our prices are raising. Basically every day.
Yeah. Like let's talk about Fort Mill right now. Do you think these websites know that the Panthers are getting ready to build a big practice facility and big area over there? You think it's in the know?
No, definitely not.
All right. What else, Jess?
So Zillow uses a per square foot calculation, and if the square footage is below grade, they oftentimes don't take into account that below ground square footage is about 50% of the value of above ground.
Okay. That's a pretty big point you just laid out there, Jess. So you compare a 3,100 square foot home that is a ranch with a basement, and you compare a 3,100 square foot 2-story home. You're going to see in an appraisal or even a CMA, because you're doing a different level of comparison, a very significant difference in value, are you not?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So to clarify, what Jessica's saying is that the square footage below ground, i.e. basement in the South, if there is such a true thing. There are some dugout basements, but most of them are walkout. But still, below grade, that square footage is worth about 50% of what the above ground square footage is. So just know that has a significant impact on value, and there's no way for those websites to know that because they're looking at total heated square footage, right? Big point where you could have a big difference in value, huge difference in value. All right, what else, Jess?
Zillow doesn't always pick up the right data from the multiple listing service.
You alluded to that earlier.
Yes. Often when we put up a listing, we need to go in and we check to make sure the photos are in the right order, first off, and that the information's correct. Our open houses are being advertised, and just making sure everything's in place.
How many times have you gotten a call from a seller upset because Zillow did not reflect the correct information from the MLS?
Once or twice. I learned my lesson.
Once or twice a week. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Again, we go in and try our best in the areas that we can edit to make sure that the two correlate, even though we're not responsible for those websites. They're a part of how people find you, so we want them correct. Okay. What else, Jess?
I guess in regards to the value, it can be very misleading, way too high or even way too low. Yeah. There was a particular house that I was very familiar with that showed a value that was about 60% of on that website of what it actually sold for. So it's not always that it's too high. Sometimes it can be too low because it doesn't take into account other variables, right? It's very mathematic. All right. And what do you see as next? Zillow will buy your home, of course, but remember it's at a huge discount. And not usually the number from the first estimate and repairs. After they go in and take a look, you're usually going to get a repair request with a few more grand off that tally. Right. So what you're presented with, and I'm hearing that a lot more. I was actually on a call yesterday that the iBuyers, meaning the people that put forth guaranteed offers, the people that put forth iBuyer quotes, are actually charging a much stronger fee. So if you're looking at that type of sale, I think the gentleman told me the other day that the fees for one of the largest iBuyers, or will buy your homes, was starting out at around 16%. So if you really think about and then adding on top of that the repairs at a markup and so on, you're giving away an awful lot of equity. Whereas if you work with a real estate agent, you have the option to have a much stronger and better and more financially solid experience. I have many cases where I've gone in behind an iBuyer and we've gotten more money for the listing. Jessica has as well. So again, I think it's something to consider if you have no idea, but do the research. Make sure you're comparing to the sales that have actually happened. But my suggestion, always call a realtor.
You can reach out to Jessica. You can reach out to me. Call us at 846-DONE, 846-3663. After the break, we're going to talk about getting creative in real estate. Getting creative in real estate. We've got a lot to share. We're excited to be with you all. Happy Saturday, the show Your Real Estate Today here on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, friends. The show Your Real Estate Today. And the time is moving fast. We're glad you're with us. Happy Saturday. We're excited to be with you. I'm Paul Jamison, your host with Jamison family of companies. That's Realty, Property Management, and Property Investment. If you're thinking about investing in real estate, please don't hesitate to pick up a copy of my book called Opportunity is Knocking. Can be found on Amazon Prime or found by my website, pauljamison.com. That's Jamison with an I, and I will send you a signed copy. It's the same cost, so feel free either way. If you've had an interest in investing in real estate, we would love to talk to you. And thank you all for the opportunities you continue to give us out there, and excited for the many friends that we continue to meet along the way. I'm here with Jessica Dobbs, who is a member of the Jamison Team. Jessica has been with me, a very successful real estate agent, and excited to have her with me talking through the day. You know, these times, Jess, and just to give people an idea of why we're talking about creativity in real estate and why it's important, when Mecklenburg County, in its great lack of wisdom, decided to make real estate agents non-essential, they did a pretty good job of trying to stop us, but they couldn't. And very thankful for the resolve of the other realtors in Charlotte and the fact that we stood together. We had to get super creative because we couldn't even show a house. So the exciting thing now is that I don't think for a while we're going to see the same sense of normal. So we do have to get creative. There have been some very positive things that have come out of the COVID-19, I will say. And in the way that some of the ways we interact with each other and some of the ways that we've used tools like Zoom and others to stay connected, it shows that people are out there, and I love the people that are out there right now fighting for their rights. And as I said earlier in the show, we support them. We support the rights for businesses to open. We support the right to host President Trump for the RNC. We know what it will do for our city, regardless of your political sides. And shame on you if you're using this politically, Governor Cooper. And so I think if you are excited about seeing our city recover and have economic stimulation, you are behind the RNC and should fight to have it here. But my question is, just to you, if you're a seller or a buyer, you still want to be creative right now, right? We're still in a short inventory market.
In regards to being with a buyer, I think we need to be open to possibly lease backs on closings, just to give the seller time to find another home, because a lot of times that's one of the main stressors for them is, where will I go? Yeah.
So Jess, in order to learn about the lease back, you know, what is a real good thing that you can do first as a buyer agent when you're talking to the seller that can give you some information about that?
Well, if I put in an offer on a home, I'm going to call the seller's agent up front and say, what other than money is important to your seller? Oh, yeah. It's not always the top line. A lot of times they have other items they're keeping in mind. Maybe a longer closing would be in order, or in this case, maybe a lease back.
Right.
To give them time to get out.
To clarify that point, Jessica, and you're giving some really, really great information here, so I hope people are listening through that. I think that's what makes us different, is the questions we ask and the information we garner. Jessica, so have you ever won a sale and in a multiple bid because you've asked that question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. And followed up with them.
Yeah. Because what if they just need a particular closing date? What if they need to be able, like you said, Jess, to lease back? so that their home can be completed or that it can line up with the home that they're trying to buy. It's very, very powerful information. And sometimes it is money, right?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it is money. They just say, it's the money. Okay. I know. Okay. I'm but there are occasions where they say, look, we need an extra 2 weeks after the house closes. Help us out. Lease back to us. And, I'm in one of those right now where they're building a house and it's not going to be ready, but we've got a 1-month lease after we close in order to accommodate. And it worked fine because the people were coming from out of town. So it worked out good. All right. What else, Jess?
Let's see.
What about an office?
I would say that the home office aspect is really coming up again.
Yeah.
With everybody having to work from home, having a separate space, especially with doors and privacy, is making a true difference.
Yeah. Jess, this weekend I put a house on the market over in Rock Hill. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and there was a room behind the master bedroom that had a door, that even had a door to the outside that was like a finished off, covered area that they had completely redone. Windows, door, roof, everything was done. And at first you look at that room and go, why in the world is there a room off the master bedroom? What are we going to do with this room in this 1,600 little ranch house, 600 square foot? Mm-hmm. We staged that house and we staged that room as an office. Of course, it's sold in the first day. My feedback about that room being an office was unanimous. Every person went, wow, to that office. Now, rule of thumb for a happy married says never put your office in the master bedroom, but it had its own door. It had a door to the outside. It was a very private room, but the fact that there was a room to create an office not using an additional bedroom was a huge deal. We've had this discussion in some of our sales meetings, Jess, about commercial real estate and about working at home. Don't you think there's going to be a lot of people from other locations coming here since they don't have to work at the office anymore?
Oh, I think it's great. The cost of living here. I see us getting a nice influx of people relocating. And the home office wasn't something that a lot of people asked me for in the past, but it's definitely something I'm hearing a lot of now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually saw a meme on the social media the other day. It said, because of COVID, I think the tiny house movement will be over.
I like that. That's very good. Yeah. Tiny house with one of those things that come out the side, to make an office, an extender. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Jess, what else we got? Being creative.
I know with us and our team, crawl spaces are a big issue. A lot of our deals don't make it because of that. Mm-hmm. So we'd like to get the crawl spaces investigated before listing, and also a pre-inspection is very helpful.
Yeah, it gives you time to get stuff done and make sure that, in these times when you put something under contract, it stays under contract, because when it comes out, it gets the stink eye. What's wrong with it? Why did it come out? What's wrong? So it's not good. What else, Jess? We've got about a minute left.
Offering a move-out disinfecting.
There's a new one. How about that?
Yes.
Give it a good fog. That's a good one. What else?
Don't sit on what you want to put anxiety in the deal.
Yeah.
Don't send repair requests the day that they're due.
Yeah, at 4 p.m. when it expires at 5.
Right.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's also a good one. Well, Jess, what do you think of the market right now? We got to wrap up. We're just about out of time. You think things are busy?
We've seen a huge uptick in the last couple of weeks here.
We sure have. We sure have. Jessica, it's great to have you with me today. Great to have you on the show. Thank you for being with me. And I guess I'll see you around the office.
You will.
Well, thank you all for sharing your Saturday. If you need us, it's 846-DONE, 846-3663. The Jamison family of companies, Realty, property management, property investment. Have a great Saturday. God bless. We'll talk to you next week to show your real estate today here on News Talk 1110, 99.3 WBT.